Greetings Indie Warriors and welcome to I Dream of Indie. My name is OldGamer Joe, bringing you another review today as we look at, well, what I guess you could describe as a physics adventure puzzle game, Heavenly Bodies, on Steam. In Heavenly Bodies, you'll be playing as a nameless astronaut, or two of them if you're playing in co-op. The whole game can be enjoyed in co-op, and you've been thrust out into space. Now your job is to complete various tasks within space, including collecting samples from asteroids, or maybe you'll be reattaching thrusters in order to get ships working again, that kind of thing. These tasks are going to be really difficult to complete in Heavenly Bodies though, because this is a physics-based control scheme that has you controlling individual limbs of your character, while also dealing with the fact that you are in space, so you'll be floating very slowly and in odd directions. You will have the ability to grab onto items and objects with the left and right triggers, and your legs are independently controlled with the bumpers. You'll move your arms with the left and right stick, and then you can manipulate the camera in a variety of different ways, and you also have a standard action button. Unfortunately for me, I had very little patience for these controls, and my co-op partner felt very much the same, because too often in Heavenly Bodies you'll be frustratingly close to grabbing something important, but you'll just miss it and you'll float away, or a lever needs to be forced down and it just won't go for some reason. Now, to help alleviate some of these frustrations, the developer has included an assist mode, but I just really didn't find it to be all that much of an improvement. Sure, I was experiencing a lesser degree of frustration, but I was ultimately aggravated either way. These obnoxious controls really did hamper most of my experience with Heavenly Bodies, and that's a shame because you have some really well thought out puzzles here, and they're well explained as well. It's obvious that a lot of care went into planning out each level, and while the solutions are rarely complex, you'll spend a good hour solving these puzzles as you again battle with those poor controls. This ultimately just led to me not having very much fun with the game, even with a co-op partner. In fact, the few fleeting moments of entertainment would come from accidentally getting our astronauts tangled up or our heads stuck in a latch, because being a physics-based game, hilarity is an inevitability. But no, for about 85 to 90% of my time playing this game, my blood was boiling. It's not all bad in Heavenly Bodies though. In fact, I think if you do have a lot of patience for these types of games, you will enjoy it perhaps more than I did. But I think we can all agree that this game has a really lovely visual presentation. The PC version of the game ran wonderfully, and while graphical options are limited to mainly a low, medium, or high setting, the game looks nice. You can feel the loneliness of space, and by far my favorite moments of gameplay came from when I was aimlessly drifting about into the great unknown, which there is ultimately a point where you'll be reminded this is a game and it will cut you off, but still, I thought those moments were quite impressive. The game does a really great job of capturing the desolate feeling of being lost in space through its visuals, and I think the sound design works effectively enough as well. No real standout tracks to me popped up in the soundtrack itself, but I think that the audio design and some of the noises you'll hear out there in that bleak, empty setting are pretty cool and a little bit unnerving too, so kudos to the sound design department here, and the visuals do work well. Well then, I play video games to have fun, and unfortunately in the case of Heavenly Bodies, I just wasn't having very much with or without a co-op partner. In fact, playing two-player, while had its moments, was really just frustrating for two people at that point. Things are just a bit too finicky here for my liking, and while some fun moments were to be had, they were overshadowed by the game's frustrating limb-based controls. This one's going to be really only recommended for the most patient of gamers. Thank you so much for watching the latest video from I Dream of Indie. We would now like to take a moment to pay tribute to our great indie warriors who support us through channel memberships. Bill T, Christian Cruz, Kevilo, Mitchell Hall, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Adriana Amato, CJR, C Coyle, Skeptism, Haley, Julian Colbus, Jen Rose, Jesse, CPM, Bunny, JRS the 8th, Ray Lynn, and Marky Mint. Thank you so much for all you do for independent developers, publishers, and for I Dream of Indie. Everybody else, please head down to the description box below. Let's defeat the gaming echo chamber and bring a voice to the voiceless ones in gaming.